Neja is a 2019 animated Chinese film directed by Yu Yang. Born with unique powers, a boy named Neja is recruited to fight demons and save the community that fears him. With the sequel now out, I thought it'd be appropriate to look back on the first film for the first time and get into what this world of Neja is all about. It is based on a lot of folklore and stories based on Chinese culture, and I really don't know anything about it, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of other videos on YouTube that will have a much better understanding of the culture of China than I do. I'm just judging these movies on what they are, not as adaptations of said folklore and stories. So this is just going to be me judging the movies for their story, their characters, the music, all the technical aspects, and the narrative. I'm going to look at the film from that point of view. So, what do I think of the first Neja? I think it is a really good family animated film, which for the most part is China's attempt to try and do a westernized version of their folklore, at least something that is more akin to Kung Fu Panda and some of the works of DreamWorks Animation. It has a lot of lowbrow humor, especially with the mentor character of the film who is trying to train Neja to be able to control his powers. He has this magic brush and little like paper map that you're able to transport yourself into, and he uses that area as a sort of training ground for Neja to be able to control his powers. All while Neja's parents are trying to keep things under wraps about what's going to happen to him within 3 years, and they're trying to make sure that he lives his best life and that he's able to feel fulfilled throughout his time here, or at least the limited time he has left. But Neja is having a hard time being able to fit in with his town, as everyone around him, aside from his parents and mentor, hates his guts. They want to see him dead, they want to see him gone, they don't want any part of Neja due to his demon powers. Now, he is supposed to have spirit powers, but based on the opening of the film and how things unfold to how he became who he is, Neja, it did not go the way he wanted, and so everyone just looks at him as a demon, and they question why Neja's parents are still trying to keep him. Now, I really like the fact that Neja is a bit of a loner here, and how he is having to learn to overcome a lot of his anger issues and trust issues, as he doesn't really trust anyone around him, really, not even to his parents to an extent, because there's always something being concealed from him, or that he feels like he is alone. And that feeling just kept growing and growing to a point where he just lashes out on anyone who just says anything mean to him. That is until we meet a character named Ao Bing, who briefly helps save Neja from this demon that is trying to kidnap a kid, and is able to almost save the day until he makes a slight error in which Neja uses him to his advantage in this little fight sequence, and after that they start to become good friends in a way. While it does feel a bit rushed, I do love the little sequence where they play a little game with each other and start to bond. This game is something that Neja always wanted to play with his mom, but never really had a good chance to do so properly, as his powers is too overwhelming even for her. And in this moment, he is able to just freely just be himself for once, and with someone who at first seems to have everything going for him. Ao Bing looks like a much more peaceful character that keeps his emotions in check, but is understanding of Neja immediately. That is until we find out that he is actually the son of a bunch of dragons, or at least one of the dragons that are part of this group that is enslaved. And the main villain that betrayed Neja's master and everyone around him, is trying to gain Neja's powers also to be able to free the dragons from their confinements. And they're kind of my biggest issues with the film. While they do serve as a great conflict of interest with Albing, as characters themselves, they feel pretty one note. Their action sequences, at least the main antagonist's action sequence here, is all really fantastic. They just don't really feel that well defined as characters. Their motivations are surface level, you understand what they're going for, but there isn't much nuance to the characters, and while nuance is not needed, they still really feel underwhelming as not a lot of screen time is dedicated to them just being evil. The main villain just has like one big scene in the beginning of the film, and then comes up again and in the last 30 minutes. Now, the fight sequence that breaks out between Neja, Albing, the villain, and the mentor, all is really well animated, beautifully animated, I might add, really fast paced, and really energetic, like something out of Dragon Ball Z. And I had a lot of fun with it. And I like the conclusion that Albing and Neja has that forms their brotherly kind of friendship together even further. And while they are at odds with each other by the third act, and you understand why, it is a really nice character arc where they come to by the end. And I really enjoyed the way things wrapped up with these characters and how Neja learned to be able to actually love himself and just be the person who he is and not feel ashamed of his powers. I think the movie served as a good lesson for this character to just freely be himself, and Albing was able to help him accept that, as these are the two characters that are able to understand each other the most. And I really like that dynamic. I just wish that the movie had more time to explore that friendship, because at times it does feel underwritten due to Albing just coming out in the middle of the second act and just doesn't have that much screen time compared to Neja. All in all, I still thought Neja was a really fun film. It's not perfect. Some of the humor is very lowbrow. The villains are underdeveloped, and I felt like the friendship with Albing and Neja could have been explored a bit further. But it is really well animated. At times, can be funny, and the action is great. The characters are endearing. I love Neja's parents. They are really fun characters to be around, and I like their relationship with Neja. All in all, this is still a really fun animated film that I could recommend for your family, and I'm going to give Neja 1 a B+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.